Good morning, everyone. Sound check. Let me know if you could hear me. Excellent. All right, we're live. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. New day, fresh start. I think today's going to be a good one. Welcome to Pitbull Traders Morning Game Plan. I'm Manny. The purpose of this show is simple. Live futures trading, real-time technical analysis, and actionable trade setups. All with the focus on building skills and to drive consistent profitability. Every morning we come in with the same goal, to build out the structure before the open so that we're operating in alignment with the day's dominant forces. Not guessing, not chasing. All right, team, let's lock in. Let's get aligned with the market. We're going to do as we do every morning. We're going to start off with our higher time frame analysis. And to do that, we're going to start off on the left-hand chart. That's our 4-hour time frame. Again, and yesterday we highlighted as part of our higher time frame analysis, we pointed out that, we're seeing compressed volatility. Let's just zoom out to the daily again, right? And the reason why I'm pointing this out once again is just so that we can manage our expectations going into the day. Those of you who traded live with me in the morning saw that I was taking more scalps. I wasn't staying in positions very long, and that's just trying to take what is offered in one with what the market is giving us, and also just it's a read on context. You can always get surprised on the upside, but better to be out of a trade with a little bit than to not be out with anything at all or to sit in it way too long. All right, so yesterday, if you remember yesterday, we opened up during the pre-market session. We had a down session for the entire Globex, and then the market rallied right off the open. It held the support, and we put in this buying tail. So you have this hammer here, and the reason why I'm highlighting that is that hammer is where we opened was at 76.12, and what I want to focus in on today is I want to make sure that if we spend too much time eating into this tail here, right, which is 76.12 and below, that's going to signal to us that all of these buyers in the regular trading hour session are probably getting hot under the collar, and they might be thinking about closing their positions. And that would be in line with the market that we're seeing right now. And the reason why that is true is because, we're having these compressed ranges. It would make sense that the market liquidate those late buyers and then just put in maybe a look below and fail and rally higher, but ultimately stay within range. We'll see what we get. All right, let's zoom in on the 4-hour time frame and see how that looks. All right, so we've been tracking the 4-hour time frame, our higher time frame analysis. And, this has been the Artemis to the moon move, which has been characterized by sideways consolidations. Again, no price pullbacks, more pullbacks in time, right? So the market will rally, then it'll go sideways, and then it'll rally again. And we've seen that over and over again on this rally higher. And this could be, we can see here that this is still a balance area that we're forming and more of a sideways consolidation. Now let's remember also that back here on this date, we had the breakout, okay? And then the very following day, let's just put highlight here so we can see the regular trading hour sessions. So recall that we made the high on the day, which May 25th, and that was a holiday. And then on May 27th, we looked above it and failed and just ultimately took out the prior low. The May 26th low but the market just came right back into balance. All right. That's kind of in line with what I did out on the daily. All right. Is on the 4-hour time frame, okay? And the first thing that point out, if you guys are looking at the market blueprint, you'll see that on that market blueprint today, you know, we're bullish above 75, pointing out this level here. All right. That's the prior low. And we're just going to use technical analysis 101, right? So as long as we maintain above there, the higher low is intact and the trend is resuming to the upside. All right. If we come back in here and test, we'll see if we get a look below and fail, or we'll see if the market comes down into below 75 on any degree of weakness, which is just about 30 points below us. If that area then holds as resistance, then immediately we'll have to get below the 75.50 area, which is where our neutral line is. And if we get below there with strength and momentum, right, we'll know it when we see it, because ES is a hot knife through cuts, like a hot knife through butter when it's selling. If we get below that 75.75 and it begins to act as resistance, and then we get below 75.50 and we start eating into this prior distribution, or we start trading back within this prior distribution, that would signal to us that all these longs from this rally here are wrong and they're being liquidated. All right, so let's just keep that in mind. 75.75 to 75.50 is going to be our gray zone. A lot can happen in that area. We want to be really judicious about the trades we place in that area, making sure that we take our entries, if any, very close to our exits, because that could be the potential trick zone. Okay? I meant trap zone. All right, so that frames out the higher time frame analysis. Let's just keep that in mind. 75.75 frames it out for today. Let's get into the 15-minute chart. We're going to stick to the process. And to do that, we're going to map out the most bullish trade. Then we're going to map out the most bearish trade. After that, we'll talk about the bullish trap and the bearish trap, and then maybe even the dreaded sideways. I hate covering the sideways day. I mean, it's boring analysis, and it tends to be a boring day. But you know, we have these compressed ranges, and we have to stick to the process, respect the process, Manny. All right, let's dig in. So to do that, we're going to stick to the format. On the left-hand chart, we have two exactly same charts, right? Two 15-minute charts of the ES. And we're looking at a couple of days of data. Here we're looking at this week's data and maybe even back into Sunday. All right, let's frame that out. And on the left-hand chart, we're going to go over the most bullish argument, okay? And that bullish trade would be opening up at 76.08. Immediately, the first reference that we can see is forming right here at 76.10. Okay, 76.10 was a prior support area that with a resistance area that then became support. You can see here we dipped below it, but ultimately reclaimed. We also had bounces here in the overnight session. It tried to hold, and now it just broke. Okay, so framing that out, if we do get, for the most bullish argument, we need to get above 76.10. Okay, if we get above 76.10 to 76.15, all right, 76.15 being yesterday's value area low. Now remember, value area from the prior day's regular trading hour session is where 70% of the prior day's volume transacted. And the way we frame out the value areas is just thinking about it like that's where the market was in the equilibrium. That's where buyers and sellers kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, agreed on price. And that's where the market found equilibrium and balance. All right. We call that the value area. So that is always a range. Yesterday's value area low was 76.15. And the top of that range was 76.28. All right. So we have this reference here at 76.10. And we know that because value area low is just above it, 76.15, we're going to want to see price get up there. And we're going to want to make sure that this 76.15 does not act as resistance. All right. So we want to be careful here going into it. But the most bullish argument is we get an opening drive we're liquidating all these shorts from the overnight session, right? We get up above it, and then on any pullback that comes back and holds 76.10, maybe we get a pullback to 76.15, okay? But if that area holds, if that zone holds, and we'll know when we see it, and the way we're going to be able to tell that is if we start building value, right, in that area. So we start getting multiple 5-minute closes, 15-minute closes within that area, price dips, and it returns right back to it. Then we understand, okay, sellers are present, they're trying to knock it down, buyers are absorbing those sellers, and we're going to look for long entries that get us in close to our exit for a trade that can potentially take us up to the settlement. Yesterday's settlement, where the market closed yesterday, was 76.2375. So if we can get into a long trade that when we get above 76.10, if we can breach 76.15, at that point we're looking for long entries that get us our scales out before we get into any trouble, but also ultimately targeting the settlement at 76.2375, maybe potentially even a move up to value area high 76.28. We'll monitor it for strength and momentum when we get there. But the first target we need to have our eyes on is the settlement. All right, let's frame out the most bearish argument. All right, so we're opening 76.08, and immediately we know that our overnight low, our day time frame references. Remember, just to review quickly, each day we have our day time frame references, and those are structural prices that were set in the prior day session. We always mark out the prior day's high and the prior day's low for the regular trading hour session. And then we also mark out the overnight high and the overnight low. These kind of give us an idea for where price is and where value is going to be developed in the current day in comparison to the prior day. All right, so we're opening up at 76.08, and immediately we get below the overnight low. Overnight low is coming in at 76.02. Okay, so if we get a strong liquidation break that gets below the overnight low, and then price pulls up to the overnight low, and that holds as resistance, we could even entertain a pull up to say this low that was just formed right here at 76.04. Okay, if we get a pull up to 76.04, 76.02, we're going to want to see that price gets rejected. So we're going to be looking for selling wicks on our 5-minute chart. We're going to look for selling wicks on our 15-minute chart. And then if price gets back below the overnight low, at that point, we're looking for short entries, and with our risk marker being the local high that was put in on the pull up, and ultimately targeting yesterday's low at 75.95 half. All right. I think that frames out the bearish argument. We're going to know if it gets traction below the overnight low, because again, when ES is selling, it shouldn't hang out very long by the overnight low, right? It should just get below it. If it pulls up to it and prints maybe 1 or 2 closes on a 5-minute, and then immediately it's trading like that below it, we're going to know that's a sign. ES tends to have this characteristic that when it sells off, it moves pretty quickly, and so we'll be able to gauge it fairly quickly if that happens. All right, so that frames out the most bullish argument as well as the most bearish argument. Let's talk about the trap trades. Quick screenshot of that. All right, let's clear the board, reset. Let's talk about the bullish trap trade. All right, bullish trap trade can materialize from a few different places today. Obviously, we're too far away from our upper references being yesterday's high, value area high, and the settlement, right? So and it could materialize there. We'll see. Stay open-minded, stay flexible. But the bullish trap trade can materialize, say we're opening 76.07 and we look above value area low, 76.15. If price looks above value area low and is unable to gain acceptance back above our references of 76.10 to 76.15, which is value area low, and this structural low that was just put in. We can see price bounce there. There were buyers present, and then ultimately they failed. So if price gets above there and is unable to gain acceptance back within yesterday's value area, that's going to be a big tell. So the way it could materialize a couple of different ways, but one we're going to have our eye on is it looks into value area low initially and then fails to put in a higher high and puts in a lower high. At that point, if price gets back below 76.15, that's going to be a tell for us. We're going to be looking for short entries with our exit and our risk marker being this local high here. Let me just reframe this here. All right, so we get above that, we look into value, price gets rejected, perhaps we put in a lower high and we get back below. At that point, we're going to look for short entries, right? We're going to frame that out as being a rejection from value. We're going to use these local highs as our risk markers, and we're going to get into short trades. We're going to take our scales along the way, but ultimately we're going to look to target the overnight low. That trade could have some juice in it. All right, because we can see that area is framed out at 76.15 to 76.10. All right, and the overnight low, which is our first real reference, is down at 76.02. Okay, so of course, let's be mindful of our risk. Let's make sure we keep those funded accounts in the funded stage. Let's make sure we pass those valuations by taking our scales out along the way. But ultimately, we could see a move down to overnight low and perhaps even a move down to yesterday's low. All right, guys. So that maps out the one iteration of the bullish trap trade. Let's just frame out the other potentiality, which is price rallying from 76.08. Okay, it gets above and looks into the settlement area, value area high, perhaps even as high as yesterday's high. But ultimately, on the initial rally, we form a high, and then buyers are unable to drive it any higher. And even if they did, ultimately, we're looking for lower highs. If that lower high forms and we get back below yesterday's high or value area high, at that point, we're going to see as that the false breakout. We're going to start entertaining short entries really close to our exit and target the settlement down at 76.23 and maybe even a trade down to value area low 76.15. So that would signal to us, right, that the market was probing higher and looking to see if anyone was willing to participate in a breakout and ultimately develop a higher value compared to yesterday. And that fails, right? And so price comes back into where it found equilibrium yesterday. And that's a good entry for us to enter into a scalp short trade and target the settlement. All right, maybe even a move down to value area low. All right, so that frames out the bullish trap trade. Let's talk about the bearish trap trade, which is actually my favorite. All right, these work out so well especially in trends. All right, so we're opening up at 76.08 and price breaks and it looks below the overnight low, but ultimately fails to gain any traction below. Say perhaps even it comes back up and it tests the overnight low at 76.02 or 76.04, the references that we use on the most bearish argument, right? But ultimately it fails, right? Comes back down, makes a marginal higher, lower low, but comes back into to the overnight low. At that point, what we're going to start looking for is the overnight low to be reclaimed, 76.02. We're going to start looking for closes back above 76.02, and we're going to start entertaining getting into a long position with using these local lows as our risk marker and getting into long trades. I think that one can be really, really good. Ultimately targeting value area low at 76.15, but you can see that with the overnight low being down at 76.02, there's going to be quite a lot of points in there to capture and to get our scales out before the ultimate target of value area low at 76.15 quarter. Let's talk about another potential way it can materialize, which is The same concept, except below yesterday's low. Okay. All right. So we get a liquidation break off the open. We're open 76.08 and price just cuts through the overnight low. We get that pullback we discussed earlier. But ultimately it trades back lower and it starts to target yesterday's low. We're going to be in our short trade at that point, but we're going to be mindful of the reference at yesterday's low at 75.95. If price gets below 75.95, but same concept, it fails to gain any traction below there, right? So we start looking for wicks on our smaller time frames. On the tiny time frame of 5 minutes, we're going to start looking for closes below there. Say it pushes a little bit lower, but we ultimately get that inverted head and shoulders look. All right. We're going to wait for price to reclaim yesterday's low, 75.95. And then we're going to look for acceptance back above 75.95. So look for candle bodies above. We're going to look for wicks below, and we're going to look for price to balance within that area. At that point, we're going to know, all right, bearish trap trade is unfolding. Let's stalk an entry close to our exit, and we're going to get into a long trade that takes us back up, targeting the overnight low, ultimately all the way up to value area low. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? We're in a bullish uptrend. You know, the just thinking about it, the bullish trap trade can also materialize. Well, it has a probability of materializing as well, just simply because the overnight inventory is short, right? Remember that we gauge the status of the overnight inventory, and we use the settlement to see how much of the volume transacted below the settlement. And when you can see here clearly from the chart that we had, I would say 90%, if not higher, of our volume came in below yesterday's settlement. All right. So typically what you're going to see is a correction of that overnight inventory, and the way that materializes is a move in the opposite direction. Okay. So if that happens, then we're going to look for the most bullish trade, or we're going to look for the bullish trap trade. You know, and interestingly enough, if we can get into the most bullish trade, right, and we get as high or into the bullish trap trade zone, we'll have two really great setups going for us. All right, team. So that frames out the bullish trap trade. That frames out a couple of iterations of the bearish trap trade. And let's frame these out. Let's get a quick snapshot. Let me know if you have any questions. How are you guys feeling this morning? I had a terrible night's sleep. I think I slept like 2.5 hours last night total. That is not good for trading. All right, there's the opening bell. All right, got the opening bell. Let's make sure we write down that opening print. And our open print is 76.08 half, 76.0850. Remember that we use the opening print, right, to gauge as another tool. If we're above the opening print, then we have to start thinking about the day, how the day can unfold. So if we're above the opening print, then we're thinking, okay, this is going to be a bullish day. We're going to look for a green candle to print. If we're below the opening print, then we're thinking the opposite, okay? And then those are two potential ways to look at it. But the third, and possibly the most important way we can use that as a tool, is to gauge how many times throughout the open are we weaving it? Are we going above, trading above it and below it? That could be a really big tell on what price's intention is for the intention of the market is for that day. So I just got distracted here. Somebody bothering me. All right, let me get this chart set up. Let me get to my trade setup here. All right. Hey, good morning, Oz. How are you? Welcome back. Nice to see you, bud. All right, so we're back above that 76.10. Back above 76.10. Sugarfoot. All right, let me get the plan open. 76.09. All right. Yep. 76.09. So I have a valid setup here. Let's see if I can. Let me see. See if I can get a favorable entry here. See if I can get an entry. Dang it, it's getting away from me. It's getting away. Run away. How'd you guys sleep over? Did you guys do well last night? I had a terrible night's sleep. There's a good reason for it, though. Yeah, come on, David. Come on in. Join us. Let's go. We missed you. Always great to have David come in. David has a really good ability to teach these market concepts. Probably for sure better than I do. He has a really patient approach. I've learned so much from David over the years. I've known him for quite a while now. We've been working closely together for many years, so it's always fun to have David come in and join us. And that's just a little bit of the value that we're trying to bring to everyone here. Different traders with different outlooks, executing different systems, and you can pick which one suits you, which one you like, which one suits your personality the most, and you can use that to your advantage. All right, fold that into what you're already doing. Take the best pieces of it, the pieces that you understand the best, the ones that are easiest for you to execute, and add it to what you're already doing, to what's already working. That's the way I've built my system over the years. And that's the way I'm helping other traders build theirs. Let's make sure we have SPYGATE running. SPYGATE is our institutional trade tracker. Give us an idea for what the institutions are up to. All right, looks like I'm long here at 76.09. See how it plays out. Long 76.09. And I'm wrong below 76.05. Oh, we're coming in hot. All right, I'm out. Oh, wait. Nope, it hasn't closed out yet. Yeah, this is tight here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, coming in. They're coming in again. Yep, I'm out. Narrow miss there, narrow miss. All right, I'm out of that trade. Down 4.5 points on that one. Not a great way to start the day. All right, so I got long at 76.09. So look, that's a good. Let's frame it out, right? So that's a market blueprint setup 76.09. They're not all going to work, unfortunately, because when I draft them, I'm thinking that they're all going to work, right? Let's not kid around. But they don't always all work. Dang it! What is going on here? David's going to be joining us in just a second. So yeah, so that was a 5-point loss on the market blueprint setup number. See the setup number. Hang tight. Okay. All right. Let's get up the Thinkorswim chart again. Let's make sure that I want to just zoom out and check out my higher time frame levels. So yeah, so team, you can see that, right? Like not all trades are going to work. And I'm a firm believer in, you have to be ready. There's a great book out there that's called I think it's The Best Loser Wins. We've discussed it before. And, one of the biggest takeaways from that book is that the author, Tom Hogarth, he goes into this concept that you have to be able to take losses and not let them adversely affect you, right? So that's where that concept is of taking quick losses, right? Because let's think about it. Typically what hurts most traders is when they refuse to take a loss, right? You start adding to the trade, moving your stop, all those habits that we know get us into trouble. And it's when we can think about losses as for the least amount of time as possible that I think that we ultimately become better traders, and not dwelling on it. And so we know, everyone knows, and I'm pretty sure we all, let me know if you don't understand the concept, but we all know coming into trading that not all trades are gonna win. Yet we all go through it early on in our journeys where losses have this adverse effect. And look, it's understandable, right? Behavioral economics comes into play. The human mind and the way it perceives or interprets monetary losses is a lot different than the way it would perceive a game loss, right? Yet we come into trading fully accepting that that's going to happen to us. We're going to take losses. We understand that. So even with that being said, there are times that we can, that we get that losses have this adverse effect on us. And so one of the tools that has worked for me has been, just simply, being able to disconnect from a loss in the quickest way possible. And what I mean by that is just letting it go and walking away, trying to shift my focus somewhere else, not dwelling on it, not fixating on the chart, not trying to revenge my way back. Just accept it as a part of the game, right? We have to, because we don't want to take adverse losses. Nobody comes into this wanting to lose, but we have to accept that that's a part of what we do. And the truth is that it's what we do after those losses that matters most, right? How we deal with the acceptance of that loss, and that as a part of that being a normal part of our process of our career, right? Taking losses is a normal part of what we do, and we have to accept it. Heads up here, we're looking below the overnight low, 76.02. Let's see if we can wick down here. Let's give it some time to settle out. They still look like, from an order flow perspective, they're still banging on. They're still hitting bids pretty hard, guys. That can change on a dime. But right now, that's the read. Yep, look at that. Got below. All right, let's see, 7,600. Let me just get back to the blueprint. $75.89. All right, so the next valid trade for me would be $75.89, or you look below and fail of the overnight low. We'll see what materializes. Oh, I see David's in here. My bad, David. Are you live with us? Let me know when you're live. Good morning, Oz. Waiting for David to come on. Sure, he'll ping me when he comes in here. All right, heads up right here. Watch these 76.02s. They're still pressing them, so they're still pressing. Yeah. Look at that. Oh God, 7,600. There's an iceberg on 7,600. Heads up. 1,030 contracts came off. 1,100, 1,200, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1,700 to 7,600, 1,800, 2,000 contracts, 2,400 contracts, and they broke through. Heads up. It was a super big iceberg at 7,600. Somebody was just sitting on the bid there. They hit the bid at market 2,478 times, and they finally broke through. They finally broke through, all right? Big tell there. $75.89. Watch what happens down here. We're looking below yesterday's low. Hot knife. This is a hot knife through butter move. Oh, they are pounding. They're hitting them pretty hard. Let's see what happens here. All right, looks like now they're trying to defend. Nope, this thing's going low. This puppy's going lower. All right. $75.89. It's support by number 2, setup number 2. Just one eye zeroed in here on the order flow guy team because they're hit hard. All right, I got one off 590, looking for 85. Really strong here. All right, this is conflicting with setup number 2. Hang on, hang tight. Just let me zero in on this price action. They keep pounding these. I can't buy the support, not yet. All right, wait. All right, let's keep it. Let's zero in here. Yep. Oh, look at that. They're hitting them. Yep. I have 75.90. Chart up. 91.75. Looking for 84.75. Yeah, they're coming in really hard on these. There's just a lot of selling here. A lot of selling. You have to be on alert down here though, because this is a support area. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the hot knife through butter, right? Okay. I'm willing to flip these out really quickly here. The bid is 91.75, 81.75 is my bid. Let's make sure we get that locked in. All right. Hey, sorry team. Let's get that nice and blown out for you here so you can see it. Narrow miss on that fill. Watching the order flow here. One eye peeled on the order flow. They are just pounding them right now. 300, 400. Like they just crushed 75, 86. It's like 600 times. All right. Boom. Got the 10-point fill, guys. Got the fill. 10 points on the first. All right. Managed that dynamically, right? I had a 5 point. Typically, I'm taking 5 and 10 points, but I'm reading the order flow and I'm trying to stay locked in on that. Right now, I don't have a stop in. Let me get the stop in because this thing can rip in a heartbeat. Let's go back and check the blueprint. All right, 75.89, 75.64 is my next support. We're below. We're 10 points below setup number 2. Again, so this is a real-time read, right? I'm not trying to buy that support, not when the market, not when the order flow is telling me to stand fast. Does that make sense to everyone? If you have any questions, let me know. Post them in the chat. If you're just joining us, I'm Manny, Pitbull Traders. We're tracking the ES. We're in the most bullish iteration that we outlined in the pre-market. All right. Now we're getting that bounce. Oh, man. All right. We're getting the bounce. Let's see how we're going to handle this. Let's see how we're going to manage it. Nice little bounce here. Got 12 points in it. Yeah. We're going to bounce here. Let's see if we can get below there. Let's see if they're not done. One eye peeled on the order flow. All right. Yep. Marginal Lulo. I'm out of the last one. Plus 9 points on the last. Heads up. So cool. Very, very happy with that trade. Yeah, very, very happy with that. For sure. Woo, that was intense. That order flow read was it was happening so quickly. So yeah, happy about that. All right, let's see if we can reclaim. Let's see. All right, if you guys are flat and you're just joining us right now, all right, we're gonna frame out what we're doing here. We're gonna talk about the next setup. 75.89. All right, let me just make sure I have my strategy set here, and then I'll walk you guys through it. Walk you through that setup, and then we'll talk about the next trade. Things are moving fast here. News out, U.S. services is a miss. Bouncing back up here. All right, heads up. Coming back up into testing that resistance area. So prior support now becomes resistance. $74 rip. Oh, 74. Where did we ripped from 75? Let me see. Let me check out the low. We ripped from 75, 74, right? Why don't I know that price? Is that on the blueprint? 75, 64. No, it was 75, 64 to 67. Yeah, so, all right. All right. Let's check out the this look here. All right, hey team, all right. So if you're just joining us, Manny Trends, Pitbull Traders, we're tracking the ES in the early, in the pre-market prep. We outlined the most bullish argument, the most bearish argument. Obviously, the most bearish argument is the one playing out right now. We had a market blueprint long that was stopped out, and then we had a breakdown short that went for, first target went for 10, and then the final lot was covered at plus 9 points. And now we're tracking a pull up to yesterday's low, 75.95, to see if bulls are going to reclaim yesterday's low, or if we're just going to put in a lower high and continue to roll over. Hey, what's up, live action? Correct, easy. Yep, correct, easy money. That would be the look below and fail setup on 75.75 on the blueprint. Things are moving so fast. You guys see how it can get dicey, right? So the market blueprint look below and fail setup, there was just no, that's setup number 7. There was just no time for me to enter that, right? So first off, I was in the short, the momentum short, and then like we printed a 15.5 minute candle. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to nail that. It's tough to grab that. Yeah, thanks, live action. Appreciate it. I hope you caught some of it. That short worked out really nicely. And the interestingly enough about that is that interesting enough about that is I was just talking about our ability as traders, our ability to recover from losses and stay in the moment is going to have a significant bearing on how successful we are. So not dwelling on a loss, not revenge trading, right? Not letting those emotions overtake us. it's really, really important. I think that's closely intertwined with our ability to be successful in this. I did not, obviously I took a 4.5, I think it was a 5-point loss. Okay, let's just call it 5-point loss on that one. I closed it out. I think it went low as 5, and then it pulled up to -4 points, and then it came back in on me, and I just clicked close. But the point is that it wasn't a revenge trade. I was just watching the market. The market was moving pretty fast, and not getting completely overwhelmed with a loss and accepting it because we know it's a part of what we do is key. Yep. Thanks, Live Action. Heads up. We have ISM coming out in a few minutes. $75.95 is yesterday's low. All right, so the 810 would get me short at 75.92 quarter. All right. Just take a look at this. Make sure that this is all in alignment. I mean, we might roll over just from here. Remember, if this is going to be a truly, let's take a look at these internals too. I think that's going to give us an idea for how we should manage the rest of the day, what our expectations are going to be. All right, I'm short there. It's too strong. 95s. One eye on the order flow here. Hang on, I'm in a trade right now. Things are moving quickly this morning. So looking for that first target. See if I can expand this out a little bit, give it a better look. No, it's not there. It's here. Yep. Okay. Blow this out to 250. All right, there you go. That's a little bit clearer. I hope that's a little bit clearer. All right, so I'm looking for that first target at 75.88. Short 75.92 quarter. Just monitoring for continuation. I'm not in love with the fact that we didn't get up to yesterday's. I would have liked to probe yesterday's low, but if we're really bearish and we just roll over, then so be it. Now we're back up. Yep. Let's see. Let's take a look at the volume node. 75.94.50. Is that notch right there? Early on time too. So I'm at the front half of the window. Locked in here on the order flow. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. If you're just joining us, Manny, welcome to Pitbull Traders Morning Game Plan. We're tracking the ES. We laid out some scenarios in the pre-market prep. This looks like our most bearish argument is playing out here. Phil from Long Island. Welcome to the show, Phil. Hey, Phil. I'm originally I live in Tampa now, but I'm born. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. Yeah, yep. Spent my entire youth I grew up in Queens, and then I went to high school in the Bronx, and then I worked in Manhattan. So I was like, just my entire life was spent in New York City. Yeah, Tampa is nice. I love it. That's funny. Yeah, he's from Hollis, Queens. Reverie says, holy shit, Manny is actually LL Cool J. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, Manny, as I said earlier, the most bearish arguments playing out. I'm short right now, 75.92. Looking for a first scale at 75.88 quarter. See if we can get it. Let me see if I can flip this out. Expand this out a little bit, maybe. Is it better read? Let's see how that. Hey, Nish says, hey, Manny, what part of Queens? All right, so I got that first. I got that first target. It looks like it ran into a problem here because platform froze. Nish, so Bayside. Hang tight. Nish, I'm originally from Bayside. So I lived in a few different places, right? But all over Queens mainly. Early on in the 80s, we lived in Corona. I've lived in Bayside, Astoria. Where are you from, Nish? So heads up, I got that first scale at 75.88 quarter, and then I ran into a small problem here, so I'm just reloading here. Oh, you grew up in Forest Hills? No way. Yeah, so Nish, I used to when I worked so I actually rented an apartment in Rego Park. for a long time when I was working at Bloomberg. I lived in Rego Park for like a small time, a short while. It was like maybe 2 years. 2 years. I remember I had a 2-year lease. I had a year lease and I renewed it once. But yeah, yep. You go okay. Yeah, so I'm super familiar with Forest Hills. 108th Street. Yep, super familiar with it. I was in Rego Park just by Yellowstone. Oh yeah, Renee. Yup. Forest Hills Drive. You gotta love that one. I didn't know. I didn't know you were into it. All right, cool. Good to know. Good to know. If y'all just joining us, we have 2 new teammates. We have Renee and Mika with us now. So super happy to have them on the team. All right, I'm hopping back here. Let's see. Obviously, I ran into a small problem here. Just trying to get my bearings back. Let's make sure we keep a good chart share up for you guys. So, all right, let me get this back. Get this up. There we go. Hang tight, guys, hang tight. Give me a sec here. Let me get my bearings. Good to know. Forest Hills. Wow, it's a small world, right? Really super small world. Coming back up to test the overnight high, yesterday's low at 75.95. All right, that took me out right there at 95s. So I got the first target, and then I got plus 75.90. I got 4 on the first, and then the second. Then the balance got taken out. Let's see if this holds right here, right? This is what we were talking about. This is what we were talking about in the pre-market, right? So we were looking for, we want to see if price now can reclaim yesterday's low and demonstrate some acceptance, or does it get rejected? All right, so we just traded as high as 75.9650. Yesterday's low 75.95 half. It's 10:14, right? So we're going to wait for this 5-minute bar to print, and then we're going to monitor closely where the next one opens. Happy Hiker says a double bottom in on the cash SPX market is proving to be a bullish ID. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, look at that. Yep. Good eye, Happy Hiker. Double bottom with the June 1st low. 2-day ago low. Yeah, that's a good ID right there. All right, let's watch this here. All right, 75.97. We trade as high as 75.97. We're looking for that, not looking for that rejection here. Let me get another look at one other thing. Hang tight. I want to take a look at what the weighted AD is negative, but it's been improving since the initial sell-off. So I'm focused in on this histogram right here, which is a real-time read from the open on what the advanced decline is doing. And generally, I don't like to trade against this histogram. So if this histogram is negative, I don't want to, I don't want to be buying longs. But you can see that we were very bullish. It was the biggest negative prints are behind us now, and it's just been improving. See, is that visible? It's probably not that visible. Yeah, so we can see it's about to go green. I mean, it's hovering on that 0 line. So I'm going to keep monitoring this. If this thing flips, if we start printing positive histograms and we reclaim yesterday's low, so typically I'm expecting to see an initial fade from here, right? So let's just monitor it. I'm also at a good time for a high here. Let's see, but we've reclaimed that low that we outlined as our bull bear line in the pre-market, right? Remember, guys, a higher time frame analysis told us that we were bullish above 75.75, bearish below. So to get a bounce from that area makes sense. Now it's the what's next, right? You can even see here that on the 60-minute we're wicking. Okay. We've wicked on the 16-minute, and we're now firmly above that wick on the print that started at 10 a.m. So let's monitor this closely. So a little bit of conflicting signals here. All right, so we had 75.89 to 93 as a potential support on the way down. Okay, we didn't buy it because price was just ripping right through it. That was a clear read. Now the question is that market blueprint level 75.89.92. It lines up really well with yesterday's low 75.95. So you can see here price. I want to see how long price hangs around here, like how many prints we get in this area. It's now we have one closed that from the 10:15 bar. Now we're about to print the next one, which will close in about 1 minute at 10:20. Whoa, big drop. Their news out. Look at that. Let's gauge the reaction though on that bounce, right? Let's gauge the reaction now. We traded really far. We traded as low as 75.87 half, and then we immediately wicked. All those sellers ran into buyers. Buyers were sitting there waiting. Now it's about all right. Let's watch what happens. We'll see what happens next, right? Let's let the structure build out. Let's be patient. So now that high at 75.97, that becomes a really good reference, right? Like let's use that if you're going to entertain any short ideas. If you're using the clock and you're looking at short ideas, that becomes your risk marker, 75.97. QQQ bounce stalled at Tuesday's close. Hey, so our nicey internals, look at the Russell bouncing off of that looks like last week's low and yesterday's low. So Russell did the same thing. It did a look below and fail down there. Let's take a look at where are our weekly. looking at the, we're so far away from that. Okay, let's just go back to the 60-minute chart time frame and monitor this here very closely for the next move. Okay, so for me on my plan, I'm looking at shorts, right? Because I don't want to be long into a high pivot. That's my system, right? That's what I'm using. And I'm also at a level that should have acted as support, that now I have to view it as resistance, and that being the market blueprint setup number 2 level, 75.89 to 92, which is in alignment with yesterday's low at 75.95. So 2 ways to approach it, right? You can sell the resistance, or if you're bullish and you believe in the double bottom from the cash market, then what you can do is wait for the yesterday's low, 75.95, to reclaim. All right. I've got 93. I've got one on short from 92.50 on that little pop. So much going on right now. Lots going on. Tape is moving really fast, team. Tape is moving really fast. Stay nimble, all right? Not the best entry on this one. See if we can get some follow through. I'm not going to sit around this for very long either. I don't want to overstay my welcome, inherently. Happy Hiker says, I show a triple bottom printed today on the SPY day session only chart going back 3 days. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Cash market double bottomed and SPY regular trading hours. That makes sense. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Right? If we're seeing that in the cash market, it kind of, this is what Happy Hiker is talking about. We have just one eye on this trade. 1, 2, 3 triple bottoms on the SPY cash market. Hey, what are we hearing? Why? Let me just double check SPYGATE. Okay. All right. All right, I took that off, that 92.50. I took it off at 93.25. I lost 3 ticks on it. Like I said, I don't want to overstay my welcome. You can always get back in. David says, PTG flat, possible probe long on a dip to the 82 handle. All right, cool. Good. So that's an update from the pit from David Dubay. He's looking at a long on a possible long on a dip to the 82 handle. I'm still nursing this short from 92.50. Sorry, never mind. I scratched that. I took that off. 93.75. Willing to get back in, though. I took a 3 tick loss on that, but I can always reload. Man, there's quite a bit going on here. Quite a bit going on, but I love the action. I love it. I love it. I love a fast market, hair on fire, 100 miles an hour. Gets the blood pumping. All right, here we go. We're moving a little bit lower. I'll still entertain that short idea for sure. Why not? I need time, though. I need time on my side. I need time on my side. Happy Hiker says, early morning, the ES had a non-confirmation when the NQ made all-time highs again, but the ES did not. Huh. Oh, and look at the, yeah, I see that. Happy Hiker, yeah, it left a really, really, really interesting wick. Yeah, you got to sell that one all day long. All right, if you're entertaining any short idea here, your risk marker is at 97. Again, I tried it, and I tried 92.50. I wanted to see if we would just roll over and keep moving lower. That didn't happen. I was short 92.50. I took it off at 93.25. Just as soon as we came back and traded above my entry, I don't want to sit in it. I don't want to sit in it. It either goes in my favor or it doesn't. I'd rather take a 3-tick loss and reassess with a clear head. Now we're popping back again, coming back up to test. Let's watch this now here. They have to take that hill at 97, right? For it to be anything meaningful. It looks like they want higher. Okay, think about when, hang on, let me watch this really closely here. Watching this ES really closely, watching this order flow right up here, because this is a retest of that 97, right? So this is a way better entry on any short idea, but yeah, conflicting signals, right? They're trying to convert this. They're trying to reclaim yesterday's low. It acted as resistance on the first touch, and now we're retesting it. So now 96. Yep, 96.50. They're coming in on them. They're going to get, let's see, 96.75. Right. Yep. They're going to reclaim it. 97 right there. $75. I just sold some 95, 75s, 75, 95. Hopefully, if it moves in my favor, if it goes back above 97, I'm out. I'm not going to sit around. I'm not going to sit in it. It either rolls over or it doesn't. Maybe if we roll over, then I can get a little add-on. I could add to it, but I'm super small, one contract. All right. We need to get below this. We need below 93s. Get below 93, and then the next need is 90. See if we can get below 93 and 90. That would be great. Nope, coming back up on it. Nope. So I got 95, 75s. I'm looking for to add to it. Got to get below that 90. I'd like to add it at 93, 93 quarter down there. But look, we're chopping around now here. It doesn't look like it wants to roll over. All right, I just added to it. Terrible fill. This might backfire on me. I'm trying to get a better configuration here. My average is now 93.75. That was a terrible ad. That was a terrible ad. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, never mind. Let me just get this going here. 93.75 is my average. Oh, crap. I'll have to do this later. 93.75 is the average. With a bad ad, though, in my opinion. Just not my best work. Let's see if it rolls over. I think this is a better fill than the last one, though. Right? I mean, the last one was 92. I was short 92.50. That's, I think I have 95.75, and I think I got the ad in at like 92.75. So let's see if it plays out. Staying nimble on the draw here. Yeah, you see we came down, volume point control, and bounced. Couldn't even get below those 90s. Yep. Not interested in overstaying my welcome on this side just because we reclaimed that 75.75. Coming back up to test it again. All right, I have to let it go up there because if I cover it here and then it rolls over, that wouldn't be good. So stop at 97.75, 98 quarter. Block buy came in at 752 in that volume point of control 10 a.m. off ISM number. I joined it, not liking the chop behavior either. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to take another shiner here. Yeah, it's just, you know what? You can't, it's yeah, so obviously it's hindsight, right? But it's that early morning dip, trap the bears, and then let's rip it. Let's reclaim, let's rip. I got to stick with the position for now. I mean, the read is still the read, but I'm not feeling great about it. You've been long since the ISM number beat. Nice. See what the profile looks like. Oh, you know what? More importantly, let's look at let me look at the weighted AD and see what that's like. Yeah, it went green. Look at that. It went positive. Just barely, but it did. So that's a pretty big tell right there. I might be off sides on this. That's a pretty big tell that I again, dialing into this read right here. This histogram is where my focus is right here. All right. I'm watching this right here. And I'm noticing how we were negative coming in on the big, on the liquidation break. And now we're going positive again. So I might be off sides on this trade. Manage your position accordingly. Make sure you follow those trade plans. Book profit on NQ long here. All right, good job, happy hiker. Well done. Hey, take the chips off when you got them, right? Smart move. Yeah, and you know what? If you just got that winning trade, hey, you know what? Enjoy the win, celebrate it, right? Take a break. Don't have to trade every turn. The whole point of this is to execute a plan and to understand the cadence of our trades, right? Like, I understand that, that after any certain trade, whether it's a win or a loss, I don't want to be in another trade, unless the market is moving quickly like it is today. I don't necessarily want to jump right back into another trade. I want to, enjoy that win or review the loss. But trading too quickly in succession can, at least for me, it's never worked out well. My action, my planning and my ability to assess the market does not move as quickly as my finger can click on the mouse. So I need to take a breather and review what I want to do next. Yeah, we're coming back up in again. focused in on this on the order flow here. Hold on. $10.43. We'll get another 5-minute close in about 2 minutes. See where we close this bar. Got to use the bathroom too. I got to use the bathroom. God dang it. Not now. Hey, raise your hand if you've ever, if a trip to the bathroom's ever cost you. All right, looks like that level held up there. Those 97s held again, came really close to a stop out. But you know, the key is getting below those 90s, right? If we can get below those 90s, I'm still bid at 87.75. I don't want to touch it. Don't want to overmanage it. Reverie says, telling my wife I wanted a urinal in my office nearly cost me my marriage. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. You know, when we were planning our move to Tampa from New York City, and we were kind of like sketching out the house and getting an idea for the floor plan and stuff, you know, in the back, I wasn't telling her that, but in the back of my mind, I was like, well, if this is where my office is going to be, we're going to need a bathroom near there. It'd be nice if there was a bathroom there. All right, I'm going to take one off here for 5 points. 4 points. I think it just makes sense, right? I think it just makes sense in case we do put in a higher low. I'm still bid at 87.75 and still bid at 83.75. I just don't know if I'm going to get it. And I'd rather just lighten up. So I took one off for 4 points. So my average raised because I was initially short 93.75s. And when we traded back up through it, I took two off. I took one off, and then I added it back right up here again, 95.75. So essentially what I did was my initial position was short 95.75. And then I had that crummy ad at 92. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get out at least, so I had two on at that point. I wanted to get out at least one of I wanted to get out of that 92. So on the way back up, I took those two off and then I added them back at 95. Just kind of in I don't want to confuse anyone, but so I want to be careful of how I say it. But so if you're trading FIFO, right, which we all are, first in, first out, I go in on a position 95.75, but now that's going to be the first one that comes off. Then my second one, and this one was 92. That's the one I didn't want anymore. So I added another one on the way coming back up. So I have one. So now I'm short three. I added two on the way coming back up to when we traded through the bad fill at 92.75. I took two off and then I just added them back on the other side. So this way I'm out of that crummy fill at 92.50 and I still maintain the position. I get the profit on the first one. I get the profit on the 95.75. I probably lose maybe a point or two or break even on the second one, but I'm still in the position, but I just unloaded the crummy fill. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing anyone. All right, coming down into that 87.75. Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on, baby. Fill me. Let's go. Come on. Manny's got to use the bathroom. Come on, let's go. All right, got him filled. Filled there, +7 on that one. So pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about that. Let's see, live action. Had a friend blow out an account going to the bathroom. Yeah, listen, I get it. Totally get it. Probably should have had a stop in, but look, listen. I'm not going to preach. I am one of the areas that I think I need most improvement on is I consider myself a pretty I could definitely be better about how I manage trades and manage my dome. Sometimes I get disappointed with myself because I can get a little sloppy with the management, and you guys see that here. Obviously there are areas where I need to improve, right? And that's definitely one of them. All right, so coming back into, I have the bid 83.75 bid for. If I can get the 83.75, that'll be 12 points. Let's see. No, that would be 11. Wait, let me just fix that. All right, that would be 84. I raised it to 80. I raised it to 84. Am I gonna run into trouble here? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna rate it to 84.75 for 10 points. Got him. Filled. So plus 10 points on the short. Heads up. Getting filled on that short trade now. Now I have one left. And I'm going to continue to monitor for continuation. I'm going to go ahead and slide my stop down a little bit. My fill on my average on this was 94.50. I'm going to go ahead and move to break even. I might just close this out, to be honest, because what time is it? So let me just look at the market blueprint, get my bearings. All right, so I'm expecting a low in that 11 o'clock hour. It's still 10:51. How does the low look in terms of order flow? Yeah, you see that order, this low had a really good taper to it. This low had a 74 to 82. So that's like an 8-point taper. That's decent. That's very decent. That's a good taper. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and at minimum move to break even. I might just close this out here. I'm gonna keep one eye on the delta. I don't want to make a haphazard decision. Where does it make sense structurally to have the stop? Well, it would make sense above the last 5-minute high. I mean, I guess you can kind of use that as that's a pretty cheap, not a very good stop, right? You're gonna get taken out there. You might as well just close it here. Let's see. Let me make sure I have this keyed up right. I'm just going to keep the stop at break even for now. I've got 7 points in the trade. It might just make more sense to close it out. Go use the bathroom. All you need is a hospital grade pee bottle, says Stuart. or get a portable toilet, right? Or get some Depends, get some astronaut diapers. Military pilots use piddle packs. What's a piddle pack? David, what's a piddle pack? David's posting in the pit. A piddle. Military pilots use piddle packs. All right, they're coming in on this. One eye on the order flow. Let me see. What's the oh, look at the weighted AD. It flipped back to negative marginally, right? Marginally. We could just get back to green. But that right there is just enough for me to risk, the unrealized gain in this trade and just hold on to it. Once we breach into the 11 o'clock hour, I'll reassess. But I've done well on the trade. Its account is firmly green. And I'm risking an unrealized gain, which is fine, which is one of the ways I try to stay in trades a little longer. All right, quick timeout break. Quick timeout for me, team. I have to run and use the restroom. Give me just a few seconds here.
the pit room. Let me know if you can hear me.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Hey, Manny's back. Did you enjoy the go? All right, easy money's there. All right. Audio Oris is here from our community.
What is going on here?
Great. Right, audio. Large Void says audio is good. Delphine is good. All right, super.
Is David on? I don't have any audio for David.
Yes.
All right, just give me a heads up so I know you're coming on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because I don't have any audio for you.
All right, waiting for Manny to come jump in here. He obviously doesn't see me or hear me. All right, hold on a second. Manny, you're looking in the wrong spot. Come on. Come on. Manster. He said he didn't have audio. Yeah, he needs to turn me on and off. Needs to turn me on and off. That's what happens with the audio. He's not looking at the screen.
Yeah, no, I have David Green. He's just not coming through. Hang tight.
Yeah. Yeah, turn me off and on again.
Yeah, I'd have to refresh, and then I'm gonna lose my screen share. Hold on a second, guys. Manny's has issues. Yeah, I know. All right, how about now, Manny? There you go. Got you now.
All right. So, what you have to do is when you don't hear me, you have to go up to PTG David and turn me off, and then back on again in the media tray. I think that then gets me back. You get me. So, all right. Anyways, Delphine had asked a question regarding the 3-day cycle. How do you describe day 3? We're actually on day 2, Delphine. But if you take a look at my charts, I'll show you the I'll show you. Let me just take a look at something. 1 second. Let's go to All right, let me put up this screen. Let me know if you guys see this screen. This is my Ninja Trader screen. All right, you do see that? Okay, great. Hold on a second. All right. By the way, Manny did an excellent job for you guys today. All right. I was listening in. I did not want to interrupt what Manny was doing for you guys. All right. We were pretty much on the same wavelength in terms of playing the short side. I did post up some of our trades that we were involved in on this side, so I just didn't want to interrupt what Manny was doing. So he's doing such an excellent job for you guys. So you know, and you're accustomed to his rhythm. So I just didn't want to interrupt that. There's nothing worse than interrupting somebody else's rhythm, right? But anyways, Delphine asked a question about the 3-day cycle. To you, Delphine, can you specify a bit more to your question and specifically what you're looking for in terms of that? It's like you said, how do you describe day 3? So we're currently on day 2, cycle day 2. All right, and I'll describe the various cycles as they've unfolded already. If we have time, I think we do. Market is pretty quiet at the moment, trading in the middle. But if you do have a position, certainly trade that, right? So yesterday was a cycle day 1. We're on a cycle day 2. So let me know if the imagery is coming through okay. All right. So and then of course the cycle day 3 high. Okay, I'll put H for high. All right, and then L for low. All right, those are the designations that we use. All right, and so the core idea of first off of the cycle day 1 is to establish a low, and we ended up getting a decline into that cycle day 1 low yesterday, although it was during the Globex session, very early Globex session, but that is still valid. All right. Secondarily, though, we got a bounce off of that low, and then we got a retest or a pullback. Okay, which now that was during the RTH session. So this would be technically the RTH cycle day 1 low. Okay, and all right, so the RTH cycle day low, but the primary cycle day low is based upon Globex. Okay, so that's that. And then, of course, we ended up getting the rally up to the cycle day 1. Okay, so high. All right. Now, the cycle day 2 outline, right? We could do a couple of things can unfold here, right? But the primary look for a cycle day 2, and I've described it in the various posts that I put up there for everybody, is we're looking for essentially kind of two-way balancing or consolidation, right? Within the context of the cycle day 1 range. In this case, it was a fairly wide range. So we're looking for some balancing, right? So when we get these big moves like we did yesterday, like late yesterday afternoon, okay, that wide candle and then into the close, right? The market there is out of balance, essentially, right? From a volume perspective, it's out of balance. It's great to see the price go up there and so forth, but there was probably a fair amount of late day short covering type plays, right? Into the overnight, we had, I guess there was a little bit of a news blip last night, which caused this wide range bar. All right, and then that was essentially worked off, right? The remainder of the session. So as we came into, RTH here, okay, part of the scenarios that we outlined in our community was a retest of the cycle day 1 low. All right, so that was one of our scenarios, right? And then again, that's posted in our daily trade strategy that I also posted to the pit room for your viewing as well. So the idea here is we're looking for 2A type of trade action, and you can see Manny's chart there, fairly well balanced, right, in terms of the profile, right? So so that's kind of what we were looking for. We ended up getting it, right, which is always nice to see. Never, but So now what we call our sandbox, right? So Delphine, so far, are you following the outline here? Is it okay, great, super. You have described day 1 and day 2, and I was curious about day 3. Okay, great. So let's get to the day 3 idea. Okay. So again, getting to the day 3 idea, we need to understand, obviously the first 2, right? So now, how, okay, cycle day 2 closes. Okay, is going to be important. All right. So the current cycle statistic stands at 92, caught up 92.5%. What does that mean? The cycle statistic, right? The cycle statistic means that price is greater than the cycle day 1 low. Okay. On cycle day 3. Now we're not there yet, right? But we do have a cycle day 1 low established at 76.50. Okay. So now, again, we had an initial test of that. So far, so good in terms of the test holding. Now, again, how the cycle day 2 closes is gonna help determine what the overall potential is for the cycle day 3. In a normal kind of cycle, we would come back and retest. Potentially, one of the scenarios would be to retest the cycle day 1 low, and then a continued work its way back rallying. And in this case, we would at least need to get past, the 76.05s. Okay. And then work its way, however way it's going to work it, right? Work up towards getting above, right, the cycle day 2 high. That's one of the scenario paths, however way it's going to get there, right? And then the idea is to push for a higher high, okay, for cycle day 3. That's one of the scenarios, right? So that's, it has quite a bit of distance to go, but we certainly know it can do that, right? The other scenario would be, and again, this is all predicated on how cycle day 2 closes here. So it's really important, right, to monitor, this action. Now, right now, we're somewhat balanced overall, but, obviously challenging the low end of that cycle range. So the alternate scenario would be, as the day unfolds into the close, a violation, we call a violation of the cycle day 1 low, and a further push down there, right? So that would be coming into, right, cycle day 3. So that's also a scenario that could unfold, and again, predicated on today's close, right? But if we're on a cycle day 3 and price is below the cycle day 1 low, right? The goal would be find a low and rally back above the cycle day 1. And that statistic, as I mentioned, that scenario, right, is right now historically over 15 years, right, that stands at 92.5%. That the price is greater than the cycle day 1 low on cycle day 3. So we don't really know how how this is going to. It is not necessarily predictive in terms of what's going to happen on a cycle day 3, right? Cycle targets. The initial cycle target here at 76.18. Okay, it's called TTT there. That's the cycle target. That's one of the cycle targets. All right, that's been fulfilled. Okay, so what does that mean is the next question. That target is based upon, historically, the range from a cycle day 1 low. Okay, and then you add that range value that we have on our spreadsheets that we use. Okay, and that target has been fulfilled yesterday. That's the first target. All right. The second target is up at these areas here around the 76.47s. So that's the second target based upon the cycle, right? Cycle objective. So first objective has been fulfilled. We've gotten the pullback, right? Now, this would be the outline coming in for tomorrow, would be holding what we, the current lows, building from here, probably a bit more acceleration if price were to get back above the 7,600 handle to some degree, and then continue to try to build and a push for a greater high above the cycle day 2 high, which is currently in place at the moment from over Globex. Right. So that's kind of the outline. I don't know. I certainly don't know which one's gonna play out. All right. But the idea here is if it happens on a cycle day 3 tomorrow, if we do get a close, sharply below, all right, the cycle day 1 low, which is the 76.50s here. If we get a sharp, move below, and we're into cycle day 3. Okay, one of the 0 DTE plays, right, same day options plays, is and again, the idea is if on a cycle day 3 we hit kind of a range value, statistical range value that we track, we'd be looking for a rebound again back above the CD1 low, right? So I don't want to try to put too many scenarios in here but basically the core of it is to on a cycle day 3 have price above the cycle day 1 low. Now that statistic has carried through, right? And since the initial target has been fulfilled, okay, second target does not need to be fulfilled. It's great if it does because we're going to get acceleration and momentum certainly to the upside. But the first target's been fulfilled, and so now the market can just kind of meander and do what it wants and find whatever traction it wants to. But that's kind of the general outline. Have you gotten a review of the 3-day cycle free document that we offer? You have a copy of that? For those that don't, okay, here's the link to that. Okay, so go to that link, and then you'll have access to a free document that outlines the 3-day cycle. Not only that, I'm going to give you. I just created actually a video explainer on the 3-day cycle, which I think would be really helpful here as well. So let me give you that link. 1 second. That's a YouTube link. Stay with me on that. That is called, okay, thank you. That is called Master the 3-day cycle. And here's a video explainer on that. Okay, that's kind of complementary to that document, that free document. All right, so check that out. That should be fairly well explained on the whole cycle, 3-day cycle dynamic. Any other questions about that? Hopefully that's clear. I think the document or the video will help also explain outline. So, and the video and the document is basically kind of an ideal cycle. There are obviously variations, to the cycle as they unfold, and when those begin to happen, I generally, I typically will kind of outline and explain in real time, in our community what kind of would be expected on any particular day. But the cycle pretty well, um, handles itself very well. And then when you add various other concepts such as profile reads, right, which is again very complementary to the 3-day cycle. Manny's timing cycles, right? That's very complementary as well. Right? That's a little bit of a different kind of the S4, the SLs. It's not the 3-day, but add that to the mix, and it can really really kind of outline very well what would be anticipated. Of course, putting the clock in there as well. I'm still learning the clock, as Manny's outlined. Right, I'm trying to incorporate the clock read into my analysis as well, and I'm starting to see some green shoots when it
Yeah.
comes
So
to
the
that.
interesting thing about that is, and that's a great point, right? So, because that what you just said, David, about uh, how using the 3-day cycle with the clock, right? And so obviously, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I get the clock. I get my 3-day cycle. I knew it before David, but I wasn't able to employ it well because I kept getting lost in the cycle, right? And so if you can't use it, you don't have a good handle on it, you got to throw it out. But then when I met David years ago, and I found that he was one of the few people that used it, and he was able to explain it to me. He does a great job of it. You guys just heard it, and so when it's getting that information from David and combining that with the clock. So look at it like this, right? So you know how we trade different time frames. We have a daily time frame, and then we have your execution time frame, 15-minute time frame. So look at it like this, right? The 3-day cycle is your daily time frame, and the clock is your intraday time frame. And it's when you merge those two that the real magic happens. All right. And so one of the things that I've been doing is, so because there are 4-day types, right? But they can, I don't want to confuse anyone, but there are 4 different day types. You'll see them, they say series 1, 2, 3, 4, but those days can invert. So there's actually 8 different day types. Okay. And when you combine the 8 different day types with the 3 different cycle days, right? So then when you when you do the math on it, right, you have 24 different outcomes, 24 different day type configurations. All right. And so collecting screenshots of each different day type. So for instance, right, you guys will see, if you're following the market blueprint, right, you'll see here that I'll put time series is S2H, cycle day 2. So there are 24 different types of day type configurations. Each different day type has characteristics. Like I keep notes on all of them, just little notes so that I can compare commonalities. One of the things that I've been doing, and I've promised the room that, hey, I'm going to do a workshop on it, is the first thing was to collect the 24 different day types. And then it was to make sure that I had enough nuances on each different day type configuration. Because I had all the clocks. I've been doing the clock for over 10 years. But it was adding the cycle days to it that I needed to add those nuances to it. Okay. So now that I have all 24 days, and I have enough nuances that I feel comfortable with saying, okay, this is something now that I can teach. Lately, the side project that I've had is to, all right, let me put this into a form where someone who's never seen it before can walk into it, can understand it after I'm finished explaining it. And that's what I've kind of been working on in the background amongst some of my other side projects. But stay tuned for that. I know I've been promising it probably for it's been over a month. I know, because I wrote it down when I first started saying it. That's coming really, really soon. Just other things took precedent over it. Like, so for instance, guys, we just completely redesigned the website. I completely redesigned it, different structure, built out a completely different architecture to it, and I was working on that. Marlon and I did that all together by ourselves, and we're really proud of what that looks like now. It's way more informative. Okay, so it's going to explain the evaluation process. It's going to explain the rules. It's going to explain the tools that we use, and a little bit on how we are different than some of the other prop firms out there. And we felt like we could do a better job of explaining that. And so we built that out. That's now live. Some small edits left on that, so please go over there and check that out. But now that we have that constructed, now when we do the workshop, it'll be something that we can put up on the website, and people can go back if you're a member of the website, and it'll be free to members of the website, right? So all you have to do to access that is to sign up with your email address, and you can get access to it. If you purchase an evaluation, right, which we hope that you do, then that will give you access to SPYGATE and other features that we're adding. So look out for that. It's coming really, really soon. We just got, like as I said, I just finished up the website, went live this week. I was finishing that up, and now it's when I have a free weekend that I get a lot of this stuff done. Last weekend was really all about getting the onboarding information for Mika and Renee, who just joined the team, getting all of that squared away. This weekend, unfortunately, I travel a lot, so this weekend, unfortunately, I'm away again. But next weekend is when I'm going to have the opportunity to sit down and build out those tutorial videos and record them and get them posted. So I promised you that. And here's, what I'm going to do. Because I'm very much about writing things down and committing to them. And one of the things that has plagued me with this is not have committed to a date. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, so that this way, I know that I'm committed to it, and I know that that's really the way that I'll get it done. So let me just look at the calendar here. Hang tight. Did I lose David?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm listening.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, I was managing the A4 short here, which I scaled out of, and I'm currently long A10.
Yep.
And my stop's at break even now at the moment. So both worked out pretty well here in this range. So yeah.
Yeah, I had to reboot. Let me just get my calendar up now. And then, of course, manage the trade, right? Sometimes I think I have ADD. Let's see. So it's the 3rd. I'm away this weekend. So let's see what I have on the weekend of the 13th. Yikes. Guys, I'm away that weekend too, man. Let me manage this trade here real quick. Getting the stop in. I'm gonna go ahead and take the profit on this one. It's 1 point. What time is it? It's 11:30. All right, cool. I'm good with this. Close this out. Took 50 cents on that. And I'm gonna close out the other one too. Let's see what I got on that one. I'm going to take the 5 points off of this one. I'm just going to close it out there. Boom, 4.75 on that one. All right, back to the calendar. So today is the 3rd. So I'm away this weekend, and then next weekend I'm man, I'm away that weekend too. And then the weekend of the 20th. Oh my God. And then the weekend of the 27th. So my next free weekend is the 27th. Let me see if I can get it done before then. I'm away the next 3 weekends. I'm out of town on all 3. But you know when would be a good so what is when we head into the July 4th weekend, isn't there an abbreviated session? What do you think, David? That might work well to do it on a day where there's like, or an OPEX day. I'd like to do it
to do what, a workshop?
Yeah, to do the clock workshop.
Oh, right.
And I know you haven't heard this from me yet, but I'm gonna go through the workshop with you first, and then maybe we could, you can you sit in on the clock workshop, and just because it works so well with the 3-day cycle that it'll be good to have you there at that workshop.
Yeah, sure.
So
a half day if somebody wanted to, where the market closes early. If somebody wanted to stick around, during that afternoon period for an hour, I guess how long you could run it? An hour, right? Probably.
I think so. I don't think it'll take longer than, to get through the material will probably take me 35 to 40 minutes. Yeah, and then
Q&A at the end. Yeah. So, right. Carve out an hour after, the market closes on a short day into the holiday. And that way,
or when we could, what about doing it on June 19th? It's OPEX. I don't know about you guys, but I hate trading OPEX. That's a day that I'll plan to do things at my desk, but I don't really, I still draft the trade plan because it's kind of habitual, but I don't really trade that much that day. So why don't we do this? I'm going to pencil it in for that day. For
in the afternoon.
June 19th.
Mom says June 19th is a holiday.
June 19th is a holiday? It's Juneteenth. That's right. Forgot about that. So when would be the next OPEX?
We can do Juneteenth if it's a holiday. You can do it on a holiday.
All right. That works. That works for me. Because that would work for me.
You could do it in the morning for that matter.
Right. Okay. All right.
Is the market fully closed?
I don't know.
Markets are closed, Rom says. Okay, so
the market is closed? Okay.
We could do it in the morning.
Perfect. All right. So guys, I'm going to put it in my calendar for June 19th. This way I know that I will meet that target date. Let's see. Okay, and that's going to be just going to pencil it in 10 to Man, did I close out that trade right at the wrong time? I sure did, guys. All right, bet. That's all right. It's in. So we've got that scheduled out now. Good. Now it's in my brain. Embedded. All right. So what time is it? It's 11:35. What are we trading? We're trading 75.83. Going back. So I have a valid setup down at 75.64, and I can take the reclaim of 90s, 89.90s, because that's yesterday's low. Or I can set this up.
Yeah, Ram says Globex is still open on June 19th, but cash is closed. But again, when the cash is closed, I generally don't trade the futures. So if you still want to do it in the morning period, that's fine.
Yeah, that'll work. That will work for me. I think it's a perfect day to do it. I think it's a good day to do it. Okay, let me just check this here. Okay, boom.
All right, Manny, I just posted an image of the last two trades that I just included, one on the A4, one on the A10, just for everybody to see, in case they missed it.
Sorry, I'm just watching this here. Giving partial access to that. And now I am in a 75.82. This thing, I hope this thing works this time for me because it's been a little squirrely today. It's been acting a little squirrely. Okay, got that done. Okay. All right, that's done. All right, got that done. Yeah, it looks like A10 long here, 75.82. Trying to multitask and get something else done here at the same time. Feel free to jump on in.
What's nice about cycle day 2 rhythms, as they're particularly unfolding today, is you can get, as I've shown here, I put a couple images up there for everybody in the pit. You can get good trade rhythms sequences on both sides, and so got to embrace the various rhythms. I know some people get kind of nervous when the volatility spikes and so forth, but I mean, movement is really what we want. I don't care what price it's at. I just want movement, and cycle day 2 generally offers us opportunities on both sides. So today is an example of it. It's nice to have a directional move and so forth, but when you have a strong directional move, people find it very difficult to get on it because they're waiting for that pullback, and then the pullback doesn't happen, either long or short, right? And then you keep seeing prices move away, and then it's really frustrating. On a cycle day 2 day, majority of them anyways give you opportunities to play both sides. Now that requires you to change up, right, your thought process and your reaction, and have a plan for, well, how do I play a range type day, or a bracketed type day, where swings are going back and forth, and then, because if you're a trend,
this thing,
if you're a better trend trader rhythms, you'll find it difficult, to trade a range type rhythm day, and vice versa. So do you have to be good at both? No. You just got to find what what resonates with you mostly, what type of environment, you excel in, and then focus on that, right? So that's one of the things. But the ATA, the auto trade assistant that we have, has the ability to capture, both style or both rhythms, be it trend or range. So today's a good example of that. I'm going to be cutting out very, very shortly. I have a one-on-one mentoring meeting today.
Yeah, yep. I have the same thing. I have the same one.
I'm gonna prep up that. I don't know if anybody in the pit has any questions. Delphine had asked a question about the cycles, so hopefully that was informative. But if anybody else has any questions in the pit, feel free to jump on it. All right, Mr. Manny.
Yep.
I'll leave the baton back to you. Thanks everybody for your participation in the pit room. It's always been appreciated, always is appreciated. So hopefully you like the rhythm of the community and what Manny and the team here we're trying to build out there for the pit community. You guys are an integral part of that community, so keep the engagement up. Tell your friends to tell their friends. All right, to come in and see what we're doing on a daily, what Manny's doing, and the rest of the team here on a daily basis. If I'm not mistaken, I think Danny is going to be joining up shortly at the noontime hour, so stick around with Danny and the work she does with all her traders that she has. So definitely, this is the place to be. Don't be anywhere else. We don't need to be on the other areas. This is where you want to be. All right. That said, have a great day, everybody. We'll keep. I'm gonna keep posting in the room, actually on a daily basis. So if you see my name out there, posting a few things in the room, even though I may not be on with Manny, I'm gonna continue some participation from a textual basis. So you'll see my name a bit more often as well. So, all right. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks, Manny. Have a great one.
Thanks, David. Yeah, team, that's going to call it for me, like, as well. I'm going to make some room. Hey, heads up, we have Danny coming on for Markets and Mindset at noon, so stick around for that. I know I'll be watching, tuning in. Always informative, and just really adds a fresh perspective, something that's really unique and that's it's especially close to me. It's a subject that I'm very interested in. I've done quite a bit of work in that area. I often don't speak about it, but just listening to her, she's got great things to offer, and she'll be coming on in about 13 minutes at noon. So with that said, thanks for joining. If you got anything out of this at all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, come back in, check us out tomorrow. We'll be on again tomorrow from 9 to 11:30. And we'll see you then. Thanks a lot, team. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate the support. Everyone have a blessed day.